You're watching KREX News.
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching the KREX News Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. Now, the man accused of attacking a KKCO news reporter last month is what authorities are calling a bias-motivated incident. He appeared in court for a review hearing on Thursday, but it's what happened outside the Mesa County Justice Center that's getting people's attention. Kyle Kawamoto had the chance to talk with the community members about who gathered outside the courthouse, who were there in support of Jerron Alex.
Thursday morning was a day of coming together as roughly a dozen people gathered to support a member of our community.
We are here this morning to support Jerron, who was attacked for not looking like he's supposed to look, apparently, in the Grand Valley, and that's really not okay with us.
Some local residents came together to support Jerron Alex, who was allegedly assaulted by 39-year-old Patrick Egan in Grand Junction last month, after Alex returned from a drive to Delta. According to the affidavit, at various points during the encounter, Egan asked Alex if he was an American citizen, demanded to see his ID, and said, quote, "This is Trump's America now. I'm a Marine and took an oath to protect this country from people like you," end quote. One of the people holding signs told us he's also served in the armed forces and shared his perspective on the alleged attacker.
I think he's acting out what he calls a different kind of country, and a country where there are only certain people who are allowed to be, and where diversity is basically a bad word.
Residents say this unfortunate case is giving them an opportunity to show that they care about their community and will not accept any mistreatment from one to another.
This is a start, but I think that we just want the people of this valley to understand that we are good people, and as things happen, we're going to show up and we're going to stand up for each other.
Kyle Kawamoto, KREX News.
And a 58-year-old man is in custody after he allegedly kidnapped a juvenile in Grand Junction on Thursday. Now, just before noon, the Grand Junction Police Department learned a 17-year-old juvenile had been involved in a two-vehicle crash at South 5th Street and Riverside Parkway around 7:30 a.m. The other driver, an adult male, told the juvenile he would help fix his tire, enticing the juvenile to ride with him to a local tire store. The adult male purchased a new tire and proceeded to drive the juvenile around Grand Junction for several hours. Now, during that time, the juvenile repeatedly asked to be dropped off at his grandparents' home, but the suspect refused. The male eventually drove back to the original crash scene and left after the juvenile changed his tire. No injuries were reported. And officers later connected the incident with a simultaneous call around a swerving truck pulling a camper near I-70 and Horizon Drive. The adult male driver was later taken into custody in the area of 26 and G roads. 58-year-old Rex Scheiser was arrested and faces several charges, including second-degree kidnapping, reckless endangerment, and DUI. And Grand Junction police found the suspect in Monday's hit-and-run crash in the area of 7th Street and Grand Avenue. Authorities say 19-year-old Hannah Pyle was arrested and issued a summons. Pyle is facing charges of hit-and-run, leaving the scene of an accident, and careless driving. Authorities have been looking for a charcoal gray Chevy Impala with visible damage on the front passenger and driver's sides on Monday morning. Authorities discovered the Impala had traveled at a high speed, striking two vehicles from behind. The suspect then fled before law enforcement could arrive. Police say there were no significant injuries in the crash. And a 52-year-old man is taken into custody and accused of menacing following an overnight standoff with Grand Junction police. Authorities say just before midnight, officers with the Grand Junction Police Department responded to the 400 block of Morning Dove Street. Reporting parties told dispatchers a man had a weapon and was threatening to shoot others. Officers attempted to contact the suspect, identified as James Duncan Sr., who went into a house and barricaded himself inside. Now, a shelter-in-place was issued to 37 residents of the area, and a warrant for Duncan's arrest was also issued, and the SWAT team was dispatched to assist. Duncan was taken into custody around 7 a.m. He's charged with felony menacing with a real or simulated weapon, retaliation against a witness or victim, and obstructing a peace officer. Police believe this to be an isolated incident. And in other news, a lone skier was caught in an avalanche and killed last week. It happened near the town of Ouray on Red Mountain. The accident happening on the 7th and marking the first avalanche death of the season. Officials say 57-year-old Donald Moden Jr., considered an experienced outdoorsman, caused the avalanche by skiing a little too close to a gully heavily affected by wind.
This person was carrying avalanche rescue equipment, including a transceiver pro-pole shovel, and he was wearing an avalanche airbag pack.
Now, this serves as a grim reminder that even with the right gear, things can go wrong, especially in the backcountry. Green urges people wanting to explore the mountains to check the avalanche forecast on Colorado Avalanche Information Center's website. And a serious cold front striking the western slope this weekend. For some residents, business is directly related to the weather. Farmers and ranchers bracing for the upcoming storm. Timber Schumann has more.
It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
Brady Pearson is both the Mesa County Cattlemen's Association president and a rancher himself in Loma.
I honestly think it's inbred in our DNA. There's about 400 mama cows right now. There's 11 up the road that are born already.
While Pearson is happy to see his cattle numbers start to grow this season, he fears the worst as a national Arctic blast pushes in.
The calves definitely are more susceptible.
The cold front will hit the western slope this Friday night and last through the beginning of next week, with temperatures dropping to a predicted 5 degrees. Pearson says he and other ranchers will have to make up beds for the newborn calves to keep the young separated from the frozen ground and give them extra feed to get them through the cold. He tells me he's gone as far as putting the calves on the floorboard of his truck, blasting the heaters to get them warm.
There will be loss in the national herd for sure, but as far as our own, I'm hoping not.
We do monitor it really closely, but right now we're in pretty good shape.
Co-owner of Van Winkle Ranch, Janie Van Winkle, states her cattle won't be in too much danger since they're expected to calve in roughly 2 weeks from now.
They can withstand substantial cold.
She tells me as the calves are born, they're wet and take time to dry while the mama cleans them. Another factor putting them at grave risk during the cold freezes.
This one coming, I think we'll all weather in good shape.
But how does an Arctic blast affect crops here in the valley?
Peaches are what allow us to do everything else we do.
Talbot's Mountain Gold farm manager Bruce Talbot tells me wine grapes are more sensitive than other products he grows at this time of year.
We would probably start getting damage at 0, and by 10 below we would have significant damage. In peaches we would probably get significant damage about 10 below as well. As long as that's green, we have a flower. We're looking good, and if we can keep it up through the next 3 months, then we're looking at a good crop in 25.
While Van Winkle and Talbot rest assured, Pearson does his best to prepare.
Put down a lot of bedding and make sure those calves can stay warm.
Timber Schumann, KREX.
And earlier this week, about 60 D51 officials and community members met to discuss D51's next strategic plan that will bring them through the year 2030. Now, the current plan, which is coming to an end, was a 3-year plan in which the district hit many of the goals they set their sights on. District 51 officials say most strategic plans have goals covering academic success, how the district takes care of their students, teachers, and staff, as well as how they engage the community. But in terms of the targets D51 will try and hit for the next plan, district officials say they will look different compared to last plan. Superintendent Dr. Brian Hill tells us they want to carry the momentum from the last strategic plan into the next one.
You know, the momentum we've made academically is great, right? Highest graduation rate we've ever had as a district, highest percentage of students reading on or above grade level. Like, we've got some really good growth that's happening as a school district. So I would anticipate that we're going to want to continue seeing that growth. And really, how do we make sure that we are the best district that we can be?
This meeting is just the first of 4, so no one knows exactly what the goals will look like for the next strategic plan quite yet. Denver police have arrested a man they believe is responsible for a series. I can't do this. Okay, one more time, sorry. Denver police have arrested a man they believe is responsible for a series of stabbings near the 16th Street Mall over the weekend. 2 people died in that incident. 24-year-old Elijah Cottle appeared in a Denver courtroom. He was being held without bond on 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. One of the victims was an adult female who was stabbed in the throat and rushed to the hospital, where she died Sunday morning. The woman was an American Airlines flight attendant in Denver on a layover. An adult male victim was stabbed in the torso and rushed to the hospital. He's in critical condition but described as stable. The fourth stabbing happened near 16th Street and Market around 8 p.m. That male victim did not survive. Now, police said they have added additional security along 16th Street for added security presence. And last week, Colorado Senators Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper announced more than $111 million in funding from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Now, for 11 projects around Colorado, one of those projects will be here on the Western Slope. Jeff Hinkle has more on what's in store for Mesa County.
The Orchard Avenue Safety and Connectivity Project just received a little bit of monetary help in the form of about $21.3 million from a Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, or RAISE grant. And for Mesa County, this added money helps move something along that would have otherwise sat around for a while.
We've been working on this project for a long time, in planning at least. It's in our long-range plan, and it's an expensive project, but the remaining project, going to cost close to $25 million. And so this $21.3 million that we received from the federal government through this grant is just a boon, because this just went from being a 8 or 9 year, 10-year project to being something we can start designing right now and start construction hopefully in the next year or two.
The project aims to make Orchard Avenue safer, as its main goal is to construct ADA-compliant sidewalks, dedicated bike lanes, among other things, to make access to Central High School, Bill Cliff Middle School, and Long Family Memorial Park safer. Another aspect of the project would restructure the Grand Valley Canal Bridge to allow for pedestrian and bicycle crossing, which Davis said helps boost multimodal transportation other than just cars around the city. Davis and the fellow Mesa County commissioners expressed their gratitude to Senators Bennet and Hickenlooper for helping make Mesa County and the Grand Junction community just a little bit safer.
To Hickenlooper, Bennet, who were instrumental in helping getting this passed in the Senate, we're grateful. This is a roads and sidewalks are nonpartisan. They shouldn't have a political aisle. So we've got people on kind of both sides of the aisle helping us get this across the finish line. And this just makes our community better and safer.
Jeff Hinkle, KREX.
All right, that does it for your KREX Week in Review. I'm Chad Roderick. Be sure to tune in every weekend to see what is happening in Western Colorado over the past week.